Yeah, hi everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining the show tonight. Royce in the House YouTube channel. I think we've got a special show tonight. We're going to talk about songs that were inspired by war. Some for, some against. Well, I believe most of the songs actually are in support of our troops, and so that's what we'll be talking about tonight. All of this stuff, and we've got our esteemed co-host here, Scott Harris, musician, who's been creating multiple albums. Maybe Scott can mention what he's been doing a little later. And we've got Robbie Detroit of Robbie Detroit's Tiger Man Vinyl. Robbie has his own show. Yeah, Robbie's father worked for years for Elvis Presley, and Robbie's got all the albums of his dad's and everything he's collected. And Robbie's got a cool show, and he's building steam. So we've got Scott Harris, musician, and Robbie Detroit, actually a former military. So he's going to have some interesting stories since it's kind of a military-based show. Hey, Caitlin, how you doing, Kate? Good to see you. Just doing some introductions. And I think before I go any farther, I want to do some shout outs right now. And of course, I mentioned, Robbie Detroit and Scott, musician. But I also want to do a shout out to my dear friend, Caitlin Stoddard, who also has a YouTube show called Caitlin's Corner. And I watch it every week, and it's a lot of fun. She's a real kick in the ass to listen to. She had somebody that played with the Monkees 2 weeks ago, long interview, and it was outstanding. And so shout out to Caitlin. I want to do a shout out to my good friend Dan McNew, who's got a show called Just the Facts. And Dan has been doing this for a long, long time. He's got all kinds of cameras. He's filmed space shuttles blowing up. He's got stuff that's got 1 million to 200 views that go way, 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 way back. Great. He was a great friend with Dimebag Darrell and Dimebag Darrell's brother, Vinny, that were in Pantera, both of whom have since passed, which is very sad. But Dan was good friends with both of them. And he talks about them often, and it's great to hear about it. So, okay, so that's Dan. Then we're going to talk about another show I go to. This woman is just a beast. I mean, she's on twice a day, and her shows go 2.5, 3 hours twice a day. She starts at about 6 a.m. in the morning, and it's Rachel Music Ma'am. Rachel's Music Ma'am, M-A-M. You would normally think Music Man, but Music Ma'am. So I want to do a shout out to Rachel. She's got to be the hardest working podcaster I've ever seen. And okay, Rachel, and hey, there's Steve Mitham. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you in the chat. Appreciate you being here. And okay, so then we're going to give another shout out to my friend Mike Usnick. Mike's one of the funniest guys I know. He's just a comedian, and he's got a show, as you might guess, the Pink Sock Podcast. Very, very funny guy. He's always making posts on YouTube or TikTok. Hilarious posts, just little quick funny things. But that's Mike Usnick, the Pink Sock Podcast. He's on every week. Then we're going to give another shout out to my dear friend who was a former co-host for 6 months or so, and that's Michael Altini. He just started a show called Mikey UPS. Yeah, Mikey's a real character, and he's a very funny guy. So we're giving Mikey UPS a shout out as well. Then we'll move on to another buddy of mine and former co-host, Michael McVeigh. And Michael McVeigh is a rock vocalist, and they've got a new band, and it's called Blackbird Rain. And I've heard one song, and it was just good. They've been recording, they're trying to get their album out, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then we've got I got 2 or 3 more. Okay, Kiss My Records. So Kiss My Wax Records. And that's Jason Herndon. And Jason's got a show. Jason's got a boutique record producing plant. And currently I'm getting over my bronchitis, but currently Jason is doing the box sets for Slaughter, the band Slaughter, The Wild Life. And it's really great. He's been advertising all over Facebook. They're taking deposits. Great albums. The big box set, the 3 remaining band members, one of them deceased, but the 3 remaining band members have all signed it. And I remember watching the signing on Facebook, and I think they signed 650, 750 albums, the covers, all of them. And our good friend, we all know, Pat Lucero, the Wizard, and his wife and daughter, I think, were there helping. And Pat and Mark Slaughter go all the way back to growing up in Vegas together, not far from where I lived. And they've been best friends, you know, kind of for life. So Pat's always involved in that stuff. And Pat also has the THEE, 2 E's, the Wizard's Lair. He sells albums. I bought a few albums from him, reasonably priced, competitive with everybody, and excellent service. And then I want to do another shout out for somebody I made friends with in the vinyl community as I'm going around watching other people's shows and getting to know some of these people. And he's been working his way through all of my videos, and I really appreciate it. He's constantly commenting on all of them. And his name is Michael Noland, and he's got a show called The Bottom Line, a vinyl unboxing show. Okay, so last but not least, we talked about this for a minute before the show started. I almost had my dear friend Chad Ricard on the show tonight. It was only about 45 minutes before the show that he told me he couldn't make it, and I told him I would give his book a shout out. Chad is an amazing soldier, sniper in Afghanistan. This is Memoirs of a Combat Advisor in Afghanistan, where he was embedded with the troops there, the Afghani troops, and training the Afghani troops. And this book, this is my autographed copy. I bought it right away when he came out with it because he's just got an amazing history with this stuff right here. Here it is. Royce, I hope you enjoy the book. Afghanistan was quite an adventure for me, and I'm glad I can share it with you. Mayhem 337. And up toward the top, it's 3 or 4 lines long, is a link to Amazon if you consider buying this book. And this book right now they're making the screenplay of it, and they're going to be shopping it around Hollywood to see if it's going to become a movie. Mayhem 337. You may see it in your theater one of these days. And anyway, he's a real soldier, and I've known his family. I've known his family since the mid '80s. And his father-in-law and I, he married my really good friend's daughter. His father-in-law, Dwayne, and I rode our Harley Davidsons all over the damn country and had a great time together. That's the end of my shout outs. Okay. Now that the show's half over. Anyway, once again, Caitlin, Steve, really appreciate you guys. So I tell you what, so what we're going to be talking about is songs that were inspired by war. And we're really going to start kind of more in the Vietnam era, you know, from Vietnam to Desert Storm and then Afghanistan, that, you know, that kind of era there. And I'll mention a couple of Starr. You know, one of my favorite songs from that era, and not only do I listen to it all the time still, I listened to it today, and I think I listened to it yesterday, but I have a pretty huge iTunes library on my computer, and one of the playlists is called you know, these war songs, you know, and this is Eric Burdon and Sky Pilot, Eric Burdon and the Animals. I really love that song, you know, and I've got Eric Burdon and the Animals and Sky Pilot. I've got Barry McGuire, The Eve of Destruction. I've got, you know, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Ohio. I've got about 10 of these songs that I really, really like on there. And I can just put that on, you know, and if you go to my 25 most played on my iTunes, all those same songs show up because I really like them, you know. So I wanted to mention Eric Burdon and the Animals. I want to mention the Doors. Eric Burdon and the Animals, Sky Pilot was 1968, and so is the Doors, The Unknown Soldier. That's just a fantastic song too. And also, there's quite a bit of stuff happened in '68. Of course, that was kind of the height of the Vietnam War, you know, and quite a bit of stuff happened there. Glenn Campbell did the Universal Soldier, and I never realized this till recently. While my wife was doing some research, the song Galveston is about the war too, believe it or not. If you really listen to it, you'll start picking up on that. And of course, also in '68, there was Donovan, to Susan on the West Coast Waiting, And so I'll stop right there. We'll go around a little bit. I got a really big list, but I don't want to just fly down through it, and I want everybody to talk a little bit. So I guess we'll just go around. Scott, you got a couple of songs you want to talk about? And I also want to say in the chat, hey, Jeff Davidson's here. Hi, Jeff. I also want to say in the chat, I have a link up near the top that has the word StreamYard in it. And every one of you are welcome if you want to pop on and talk about, a favorite war song or anything like that. Welcome just to pop on, hit the button. I'll bring you on, and we'll go from there. So, okay, Scott.
Well, in some of the songs that you mentioned just before, I'm a huge Doors fan, so I love The Unknown Soldier. That's a great song. I think it's very dramatic how it's done too. Doors are a very dramatic band. Anyway, I was watching live at the Hollywood Bowl. I have on Blu-ray. I've been watching it a lot lately. I really do love that performance a lot. But that's definitely The Unknown Soldier. I mean, there's a lot of songs from the era that are Vietnam, 1967, 1968, things that happened at TikTok or whatever.
Exactly.
But that song is definitely up there. And I just want to recommend, I'm reading the new Bobby Krieger book. If you have,
okay.
It just came out in October 2021, and it's amazing. Okay. I mean, he really sets the record straight about a lot of things that happened in the Doors, things that happened in the movie that were not true.
I've been hearing that. Yeah.
It talks about how, that he had been playing guitar since he was 13 years old. And a lot of the rumor is, he had been only playing guitar for 6 months when he joined the Doors, which is not true at all.
Yeah. Quite a contrast.
They actually hired him because he played Bottleneck. And, Jim was a huge fan of the blues. And,
right.
A lot of, they were, very into all the old, Black bluesmen that played slide. So, he played Bottleneck and he got the job. And I mean, he pretty much co-wrote those songs with Jim up until about the song. So if you go into the history and if you want, really interested in the musicianship as well, he talks a lot about song structure and things, certain chord structure that they did and Bruce Botnick and the whole background of the recordings and stuff. So it's kind of a little bit like that too. He jumps around it, but he does set the record straight about a lot of things, which is really cool.
That's I'd love to read that book. That looks great.
Definitely, if you're a Doors fan, you should read this.
And I've been a Doors fan from day one. I do love the Doors. They have so many great. I mean, they have more than one song that relates to war and stuff too, But I think even when the music's over, turn out the lights. I mean, do you feel like that's directed towards the war? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean,
too.
In the book, they were Robbie was saying that Oliver Stone said when he was over in Vietnam that all the music that he heard over there was country music and the Doors, and that's pretty much what he played over there. And
wow,
Merle Haggard,
country music and the Doors. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Merle Haggard, Ogie from Muskogee, from Muskogee. Yeah, a lot of country.
Yep.
Do you guys remember that movie with Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam, where he was like a disc jockey?
Yep.
Wasn't that a great movie?
Yeah, great soundtrack as well with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got
Diana just joined us. Hi, Diana.
I mean, Apocalypse Now has the end in it, in the beginning and the end of
Apocalypse Now. That and Platoon. Pretty much my favorite movies. I love Platoon. I've got the and I've actually unboxed it before when I was doing cult classics. I've got Platoon, the album. Great songs on that.
That's cool.
And Apocalypse Now. I was a huge Marlon Brando fan. It was kind of a weird role for him to play, but it was still, he still did a good job.
Full Metal Jacket as well.
Oh, Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, that was a great movie too. That was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the opening scenes when they're in basic training. If you want to know what basic training is, that's as close as it comes.
Really?
Yes, sir. And
Wow.
it's so realistic. Well, the guy that played the drill sergeant, he was a consultant on the movie, and they couldn't get the part right, so he took over because he was a drill sergeant in the Marines during the Vietnam War, and he took over the role, and that's how he started in movies.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yep.
That's real. That's interesting. You know, I almost forgot about. I don't know why I almost forgot about Full Metal Jacket, because to me that's right up there. You know, with the other two. I don't know. Platoon. I mean, that almost like in a league by itself, though. It was so damn good. You know.
That's real too. That's real, very realistic.
Yeah. Right.
That wasn't sensationalized at all. That was about as real as you can get as well.
I'm sitting here saying, yeah, right, you know, because I'm accepting what you're saying totally. But I mean, I was never in the military, you know. I graduated in 1971, and if I'm not mistaken, like by December something, you had to sign up for the draft. So I went down and signed up. And at the time, I mean, I'm talking 1971. In 1966, 65% of the country had already turned against the Vietnam War, you know, and everybody running for president was promising to end the war. So there wasn't a whole lot of excitement to run down and volunteer, you know. So at the time, so 71, I went down, I signed up for the draft, and everybody was saying, well, you're going to get a number. It's going to be like the days of the year, you know, number. You're going to be number 1 through 335, you know, and they're taking, you know, 1 through 100, maybe if something, you know, crazy happens, maybe they go as high as 150. But above that, you know, you don't have anything to worry about. And my draft number came out, it was like 330 something, you know. I mean, I was like in shock. I mean, it couldn't have been freaking higher, you know. And so I was classified as what they called it, and I'd never even heard about this before, 1H, only in case of national emergency. I'd never even heard that designation before. But it was just because my number was so high. You know, and there was a lot of people doing a lot of crazy stuff. I'm not going to mention names, but I had a really good friend, you know, and he didn't want to. He was a little bit older than me, so he was a little closer to, you know, maybe getting pulled up. And he went in there, and everything they said to him, he pretended like he couldn't hear. And then when he was on his way out, they called his name to see if they could trip him up. And he just kept walking like he never heard. There wasn't a damn thing wrong with his hearing, but people were doing crazy stuff because it was very unpopular at that time, you know. And anyway, so look at Steve Midtham and Robbie. I know you know him.
Yes.
He was in the Air Force stationed in Korat, Thailand, in 72, 73. Most of the music was country. Yeah, who just said that? Was that you, Robbie, or Scott? Just said that most of it was.
Scott mentioned it, and I was. Yeah, Scott.
Okay.
Sir.
Hey, Steve. You know, you're welcome to join us on the show. I got a link up above toward the top of the chat. It's got the word StreamYard in it. If for some reason you couldn't find it, I'll copy it and I'll go up there right now. You're welcome to jump on and tell us some stories, man. We'd love to hear some of your experiences. I think that'd be fantastic. Okay. So here's my link, and I can't copy it from here. Let's see. No. Okay. No, I'll copy it anyway. So anyway, Scott, did you have a little more you wanted to go over right now, or just kind of wait and go with the flow, or?
No, I mean, I can throw out songs. I mean, you know, there's Jimi Hendrix, Machine Gun. I think that was a track too. Yeah.
Right. Jimi Hendrix, Machine Gun, and Star-Spangled Banner, you know. And Jimi Hendrix was a veteran too. I've seen pictures of him many times in his army uniform, and even playing his guitar with another guy in the military with him playing drums, you know, and stuff like that. I'm gonna really quickly grab that link. Okay, good. Okay, Steve Midtham, I just reposted that link. You're more than welcome to click on that, come backstage, test your mic, and I'll bring you on the show. But it's your choice. I'm not, no pressure, buddy, you know. Just letting you know that, and if anybody else wants to as well, you guys are welcome to pop in here. Let's see. I just put that link up now. Oh, okay. I got to go down. New comments. I went up there and stole. Okay. Okay. So there's the link. And if anybody wants to pop in and talk a little bit, Bruce Springsteen, War is really good. I think it's a cover. You know, I heard a Bruce Springsteen song years ago that was, it was a song that kind of rambled and went on and on and on. It was about the Vietnam War. And I've never found it since. And I just loved that song. And I've looked for it and still couldn't find it. I never knew what the name of it was, you know. Anybody familiar with that song from Bruce?
It doesn't come to mind, no.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I know yeah. I don't know.
Right. Hey, Dan popped in. Dan. JTF. Good to see you. I need to learn how to spell all over again. And I just want to mention, and I know you've been a little under the weather, Dan, but if you're feeling up to it, I just put up another link that you're all invited. And I know you were in the military. I think you said you were in the Navy and you were stationed on some island. And I remember you one time saying, if it wasn't for that album UFO, you don't know how you got through it. Those kind of things just stick in my mind, you know. But Dan, if you'd love to come on and tell a little story or two about the military. And I think I remember you saying, I do remember you saying you were part of the evacuation in Vietnam. You know, you were part of the evacuation. So I would love to hear stories about that if you'd like to come on. So just click the link if you're up to it. He says, I was only involved in the evacuation of Vietnam after the fall of Saigon, but music was very important. Oh, awesome. Like I said, if you're feeling up to it, you want to pop on, happy to have you. So anyway, Robbie, have you got a couple of songs you'd like to bring up and talk about a little bit?
Well, I'll focus it towards, I was in Desert Storm, and I'll tell you a couple of songs that, well, I tell you, when the ground war kicked off and we were told to go,
yeah,
I had a boombox behind me. I had my Detroit hat on because I'm from Detroit. I didn't have my steel pot on. I had it backwards. When it was time to go, I turned my Detroit hat around, and I popped on. I had a boombox behind me, and I put on "Fortunate Son" by CCR.
Right, CCR. Yeah,
that was my battle cry song when we were going across the desert.
Yeah, and that's a great song, you know. I mean, because what he's basically talking about is, you know, us poor boys, you know, you didn't, you know, if you got drafted, and anybody with any money was a fortunate son, and they didn't get drafted because they could, one way or another, whether it was go to college or whatever, buy their way out of it, which was okay. You know, I had a lot of friends that did stuff like that, older people, and I had a lot of friends that. You know, one of the things that stands out in my mind, and I was just thinking about it today, I'm part of a post, a site called You Know You're from Henderson, where I grew up, just outside of Vegas. We had this huge swimming pool there, and it was just like the most popular thing in town. I mean, we're talking 115 degrees out there, you know, and this swimming pool had a low dive and a high dive. I'll never forget as a kid, there was this one guy that was like, I mean, he looked like an Olympic diver. You know, he'd get up on that high dive and he'd do all kinds of stuff and stuff I'd never seen before. And everybody would just be, you know, oohing and awing because it was just mind-boggling. And I'll never forget, he was 3 or 4 years older than me. He got drafted. When he came back, I mean, he had to, you know, he couldn't use his legs anymore, and he had to have a car modified so he could do everything with his hands and stuff. And I can't even remember his name right now, but it was kind of heartbreaking to see, you know, because he'd been such an amazing athlete. But anyway, I'm sure there's thousands of stories like that, you know. And Diana, let's see, just the facts, is at a hospital in Austin visiting a very ill father-in-law. And I'm really sorry to hear that, Dan. Very, very sorry. And let's see, Diana says, funny about listening to country. when we're talking about so much country being played in the wars. Grandpa is a World War II vet, and he would say that he listened to Ernie Tubb on the radio at night. I have a very old Ernie Tubb album somewhere that was my father's diary. That's a great story. Okay, then we have Katie Pashi. How are you? Vum today. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, no, it's really sad, Dan. I mean, you've had a really tough year or two here. So anyway, okay, Robbie, you're still up if you want to tell a little bit about what your Desert Storm experiences were like.
Okay. Royce, if you see anybody in the chat you don't recognize, I invited all my 307th Bravo Company buddies from the war to join us tonight. So if you see anybody that you don't recognize, it might be them.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And I know a lot of people watch and don't really join the chat, you know, because they see that everybody's talking to one another and everybody seems to kind of know one another, you know. And so it gets to be a little bit awkward sometimes for people. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Give a shout out to my brothers and sisters in Bravo Company 307 that I served with in the war.
307. That's awesome.
All of them are warriors and heroes, man. And
absolutely.
I take a bullet for them any day. But one thing I wanted to mention about Desert Storm, I don't know if people really remember, but when we got done with the war, we took commercial air flight back. And what they did, was really nice, is on the flight back, they had made us a movie of all the stuff that was happening back in the States while we were going through the war. And one of the things, you know, Whitney Houston singing the national anthem and all stuff like that.
Right.
But one thing they did, you know, like the song "We Are the World." I don't know if y'all remember that, but they did this thing called Voices That Care with all the actresses and all the rock stars, and everybody got together and did this video for us called Voices That Care, and we got to watch that on the flight back, and which was really sweet. Yeah, it was like the the We Are the World type video and song, but it was for us.
I can see them doing something like that. Yeah, it's almost like they're indoctrinating. I mean, how long were you over there?
I was over there for a year.
Okay.
The war actually lasted about 5 months, you know, from start to finish. But we had to clean up and we had to get all of our equipment. They pulled us out of Germany. I was in Stuttgart, Germany, and we got in country in December 17th, 1990. 82nd Airborne and 5th Special Forces, and that got there in August. We got there in December. We were in the center. We were in the neutral zone. We went up the gut. 7th Corps did. We fought the Republican Guard, then swooped back down, hooked back down into Kuwait, and we fought in the Battle of Kuwait.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really impressed. I take my hat off to you, man. Yeah, you guys, I nothing but respect for all our service men and women.
I do it all over again. I love the people. I love my country, and I love the people in it. I do it all over again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. Wow, that's great, man. I mean, like I said, all my respect, honestly. And the country was really behind all that too, and that's all.
It was
makes a difference. I mean, you guys came home.
What they did to
treated like you should have been, like heroes.
Yeah, I think the country realized what they did to the Vietnam guys, and they made up for it. They really did us good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just the facts said something kind of funny here. Dan McNew, Navy tradition: after ship refueling and ships break away from each other, the ship would blast music over the PA. And my son's ship would play "Mama, I'm Coming Home" by Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, they had
No More Tears album. I really enjoyed that album, and I remember watching all the videos on MTV and No More Tears. The girl's crying in a room, and the room fills up with water, and pretty soon she's submerged. She's cried so many tears.
Royce also
good songs on that one,
Yeah, Royce also. We have what they call 9th psychological operations. they had a pirate radio over there when they weren't doing their missions. What they do is when we went into Panama, when they were trying to get what was it, Noriega out of that building, they played that song by Van Halen, Panama. They just drive them crazy, playing the music over and over. And when they weren't on a mission, they would play pirate radio for us over there.
Nice. Who comes up with this stuff? Play Panama.
They did over and over. Drive me crazy. Yes, sir.
That's great. Diana S says all vets are freaking amazing in capital letters. Thank you all. That's really nice. I feel the same way. Jeff Davidson, I'm going to get that book, Scott. Hey, Scott, guess what? I got to see Dwight Yoakam in concert at Graceland.
I love him. He's great.
I know Dwight's really talented. He does a great Elvis too.
He does. I saw one time. I went to. I actually was when I was working at Sony Music. Well, I work there now again, but when my first managers working over there, I got to be close with the business affairs people and the country show ever in my life. So I was like, hey, do you have anything that I can go see? I just want to kind of get familiar because I was dealing with all the country artists. And so they gave me the Brooks and Dunn Traveling Circus backstage.
Great band.
Seventh row and everything. And, great lineup of acts or whatever. But Dwight Yoakam was on the bill. And where his band at the time, they were like wearing like, I don't know if remember Elvis Loving You movie where they were wearing these like kind of like the band were wearing these like kind of like royal blue turquoise kind of glitter outfits, like Western.
Yeah, I kind of remember because I did see all those movies.
Yeah, they were wearing something very similar to that, and I do like honky tonk a lot, and I do I like country from like Hank Williams Sr. and things from the 50s and the rebel country, Waylon and Merle Haggard and stuff. I really love Merle Haggard a lot. But anyway, I've never seen a country show, and he was just amazing, and I was a fan ever since I saw that show. And I think it was like probably like I think it was like 2002 or something.
Right.
But it was great, and like again, I mean, like I'm a huge Elvis fan. I love older country and stuff like that. But like I never saw a show like that ever, and great. It was really good. Great drinking show.
Yeah. I recently bought the last few months 2 Merle Haggard albums. And I had my nephew and my younger brother on the show, and my nephew is a huge fan of Merle Haggard, and his wife's a singer, and Little Rich plays guitar and bass and stuff, and they actually, it's in one of my country unboxing, I think it's called, from a couple of months ago, and they actually were live doing some songs, and it was fun. Cool. And I love country too. We don't talk about country, I don't think, enough on some of these channels, because there was a period of time, and I'm not exaggerating. I live in a rural area, midway between LA and San Francisco. They're both like 250 miles in either direction. The town I live in has a population of 30,000 people. And of course, Paso Robles has 30,000, and San Luis Obispo down the highway has 60-something thousand. But in between, there's cattle grazing along the freeways. In fact, I made a little travel video about Texas Longhorn sheep, like 5 minutes from where I live. We just pulled off the freeway and I started filming Texas Longhorn cattle. Not when I say sheep. Anyway, there's places out here where there's buffalo being raised, like cattle, and it's full of cattle. That's all this was like cattle ranches, back in the day. In fact, where I live, it's called the 3F Meadows Ranch. And before they started little by little cutting it up into lots and sell it to people to build their custom homes on, it was the 3F Meadows Cattle Ranch. And they were still running cattle on the back part of it for years after I moved in. So it's a real rural area, and we've got our Paso Robles Fairgrounds, huge concert venue. And they, because it is a rural area, and the FFA and all the kids bring their animals, it gets shown and sold at the fair. It's pretty country strong. And when they do their lineup and they got their the big shows in the big, in the big arena, when they do those, I mean, they sell every single one of them out, and oftentimes better than half of them are country shows. I mean, I have seen like Bob Dylan and Tom Petty there. They were like, they came out separately and then they came out together and played. And I've seen so many people. I saw Van Halen, maybe 7, 8 years ago when they had reunited with David Lee Roth. And oh my God, what a show, I mean, of course, David Lee Roth wasn't leaping 12 feet in the air anymore. We're all getting older, but what a great show. And what was really cool is when we all started like screaming for an encore at the end of it, out walks Eddie Van Halen with a little wooden chair and walks out and puts it in front of a microphone and sits down. And he must have soloed for like 30 minutes. Right. And everybody was just so appreciative that he came out and did that. But I mean, everybody has been there, everybody from Garth Brooks country and Brooks and Dunn and every country. I mean, I saw Alabama 3 years in a row years ago, right, when I was at the height of my own obsession with country. And I was, our whole family. I mean, the guys I was working with, they're local guys and they loved country music and they bring their radio to work every day. They didn't care if they ran their batteries down, but they'd turn the radios on or bring a radio and we'd listen to country music all day long. Before I knew it, it was all I was listening to. And I started bringing it home. And before I knew it, that's all my wife and 3 daughters were listening to, were all huge country fans. And that lasted for a couple of years. Then we all kind of drifted back to rock and roll. But I always still love country, I mean, I've seen Willie Nelson and Friends in concert out at the Pozo Saloon, which became a big concert venue too. And so many acts. I mean, Lady Antebellum. Also at the Paso Robles Fairground, they don't have just the big stadium seating, but they also have what they call the free shows. Now, then they all have sponsors and these top-notch bands. I saw Peter Frampton, one year at a free show, long past his, prime, long past his hair too. But anyway, so Peter Frampton was there, and I was used to seeing these long goldy locks, but I mean, it'd been a while, and so that was a free show. I saw so many people there as free shows. They were, at one time they would have been out in the stadium, but because they hadn't been relevant for 10, 15, 12 years, they came in as free shows. They still got paid. They were sponsored, but you just walk in and take any seat you want. Great. I mean, Eddie Money I saw there as a free show, and I think Lady Antebellum was a free show, and they'd already came out with their big hit, I Need You Now, or whatever it was. I can't remember now, but they would have been like stadium quality at that time, but they'd already signed to do the free show and they honored it, But anyway, the fair is a great venue. They're signing people up right now. It starts in July. And I just bought my ticket to see Alice Cooper and Ace Frehley at Vina Robles Winery. They have their little amphitheater. There's no bad seats, And so I got my ticket to go see that. My wife had seen him before, so she didn't really care. So I just bought a single ticket. Right. And I'll try to do some filming of that, and bring it to the show and play some of it and stuff like that. And I've been listening to a lot of Alice Cooper lately. And I started listening to him in high school, and they kind of got away from him for a while. But I now I have 6 or 7 albums I've bought, everything from School's Out to Killer, the one that comes with the little pink panties in it. I remember when I unboxed it on my shock rock show, shock rockers that made everything crazy. But I kept trying to put the album and sleeve back in the cover, and it wasn't fitting. I go, what the hell is going on? I reached in there and I pulled out a pair of pink panties. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that I had the album with those in it, Anyway, so that was kind of funny. But Welcome to My Nightmare, Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. Like I said, I think I have 6 or 7 of them. I could have bought a couple more the other day at an antique store, but I passed on them. I've been getting real selective, It used to be I'd go in there and just go crazy, and because there's some really good stores here with used stuff, a lot of older original pressings, and you see all kinds of just everything. I mean Zeppelin, and, you name it, it's in there. I mean, all of it, and and most of them are pretty damn clean, clean to almost perfect. And
Yeah.
I found an album I wanted to buy the other day, had a couple scratches in it, and I passed on it. I just don't want to get home and have problems, you know.
Right.
And it can be deceiving sometimes. I have an album that I didn't play for years, and it was like brand new, and I pulled it out, and it was all just pop and fuzz. And I look at it, I can't even see it, but I think it was in a stack with weight on it and moved so many times for so long that it just kind of screwed the whole surface up. And it kind of bummed me out because my brother bought it for me for my 16th birthday, you know, and it was Blind Faith, you know, with Eric Clapton and Ginger Baker, you know, and so I was really bummed. That was so messed up. And okay, so anyway, go ahead, guys. I'm gonna back off here for a minute and well, you know what? I'll mention a couple of other of these songs that I have written down here. You know, Donovan sang To Susan on the West Coast Waiting. I might have mentioned that already. Joan Baez sang Saigon Bride. And of course, it's already been mentioned, CCNR, Fortunate Son, Robbie. But CCNR also did Run Through the Jungle. And I understand that was about the jungles in Vietnam too, you know. And then Country Joe and the Fish, of course, the his big song at Woodstock was the Vietnam song, you know. And yeah, Jefferson Airplane had a song called Volunteers. So anyway, I have a bunch more. Anybody have any comments on some of these songs that they'd like to share with us? Hey, look at that, Daddy Boggs. Hey, I gotta say hi to Daddy Bog here.
Well, yeah, you also need to mention Edwin Starr's War, right?
Oh, yes. And that was also done by the band War, right? War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think it was covered by a few people, but you're right. Edwin Starr was the original. And maybe I'm confusing it when I say the band War.
Edwin Starr from Motown.
Yeah, Motown. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I tell you, there was nothing like Motown, was there?
God.
Huge Motown fan.
I was 67, 68. That's all I had, you know, was Motown, you know. I mean, it was kind of a little period between the British invasion and, like, say, Woodstock, you know, and the next big swarm of rock. And there was like a little period there where it was like, you know, Temptations, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, you know, Isley Brothers, and on and on. And that's all me and my buddies lit. We go park out in the desert, pass a jug of Red Mountain wine around, and maybe some other things, and listening to our soul music, and really funny. Okay, here's we have another guest. We have Mike Usnick of the Pink Sock Podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing? I'd like to comment. Every song by CCR was about the Vietnam War, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It's in there.
Because every time I hear CCR, I just imagine any Vietnam War film. Any.
All right.
Yeah. Well, you know, CCNR was kind of a game changer for me because I had been listening. I was just mentioning to the guys, I was a huge fan of, you know, the Motown soul music. And that's there for a while. That's all me and my buddies were listening to. And we all of a sudden, I started hearing Disraeli Gears by Cream and Creedence Clearwater's Bayou Country, and I just lost my mind. That was like a huge game changer for me. Those two, I immediately went down and bought both of those 8 tracks. Had my little 55 Chevy with a tape deck and a light bar underneath the dash that pulsated to the beat, you know. I didn't realize how crazy it looked. I saw somebody else drive down the highway at night with that light bar on. It was like, the place was lit, inside of the car was lit up like a Christmas tree. I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, Disraeli Gears by the Cream and Creedence Clearwater's Bayou Country were like a huge game changer. I immediately started moving away from my soul music and back into rock and roll with those two albums. So, Mike, you finally got off work, huh?
Yeah, I left a little early. We got everything done early.
Did you have a couple of war-inspired songs that you'd like to talk about?
Of course, War Pigs by Black Sabbath would be a big
yes.
one.
Yeah, that was on a list I have here too. Yeah.
Like when I think like war songs, I think either War Pigs by Black Sabbath, anything by Rage Against the Machine, couple System of a Down songs.
Yeah.
Like bands like that, bands that I grew up with. Most of them were
Right,
anti-war
right.
bands.
Well, you know, when I advertised my show, Ed Stasium, we all know Ed Stasium, produced the Ramones and some other bands. He was always on another show that we all were on. And he said, "Hey, Royce, whatever you do, don't forget about the Ramones, Commando." So, Ed, if you're out there listening somewhere, Commando by the Ramones was a great song. I actually listened to it today.
Since you said war, I decided to take my underwear off and go commando just for this show.
Hey, Mike, you know, I want you to know I gave you a shout out earlier.
Sweet. I felt it. That's why I'm here.
Okay. And I told everybody you're a comedian and you're a very funny guy. And his show's a lot of fun to watch. I've actually had the good fortune to actually pop on the show and talk and stuff. And it's always funny. It's just a riot, you know.
We try to have fun.
Yeah, no, you do have fun. There's no question about it. Now, have you done some stand-up comedy?
I've been thinking about it, but it's one thing to like be funny in conversation. It's another to just be on a stage and try to be funny.
I can see that. Yeah, totally can see that for sure.
Plus, in today's day and age, it's hard to be a stand-up comedian because everybody gets mad at you for a joke you told.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way,
tomorrow I'm gonna read off a couple of songs. You brought up something that's a little more modern, for lack of better words. But Metallica won, and for whom the bell tolls.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a pretty good one. I had War Pigs written down here, and Alice in Chains, Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, Rooster. Iron Maiden, The Trooper.
Yeah.
And Run to the Hills.
Guns N' Roses, Civil War. Anybody have anything to say about that? I mean, are they talking about a modern day Civil War? Or are they talking about the Civil War?
Well, I got one that, you know, you don't have to be from that era probably to remember it. Remember the song Green Beret by Barry Sadler?
Yeah. Who did that song?
Sergeant Barry Sadler. He was a 5th Special Forces.
Okay. Yeah, it went something like 1,000 men will test today, but only one makes the Green Beret.
Yeah,
I love that song. You know, those songs really resonated with me.
You got Johnny Horton, The Battle of New Orleans.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was way back.
Yeah. What was it? 1816 took a little trip.
Long Colonel on a mighty Mississippi. Yeah,
I can't hardly remember, but I remember. I can hear the tune in my head, but it's been so many years since I've heard that. You know. The funny thing about war is, I'll tell you something. When I was a kid growing up, our favorite thing to do was to go outside and shoot each other with toy guns. You know, we'd go outside at night and we would just kill each other 100 times over. And if it wasn't army, it might be cops and robbers. It might be cowboys and Indians. It might be the Roman Legion. I mean, we'd go to the subdivision up behind my house, and we'd pull thousands of dollars worth of work by surveyors putting the heavier stakes in the ground. You know, the ones that you use to set foundation forms and stuff. We'd pull out those things by the hundreds. You know, all marked up. You know, for the setback from the curb and the height of the curb, and you know. I'll have readings on them. I'm surprised we never got in a shitload of trouble. But we'd take those goddamn 3 and 4 foot swords. We'd cut a couple of square blocks off one end and nail them on both sides of the sword. And that would be like, you know, protect your hand, you know. And we'd march up and down the street, you know, 20, 25 strong with our swords. And I remember my mother just kicked my ass. I took my brand new bed sheets and everybody was dyeing them red so we could make capes and look like the Roman Legion. And then we fashioned these freaking, you know, helmets, you know, out of tinfoil. And so here we are with our red capes and our tinfoil helmets and our swords marching up and down the streets, you know. And finally, some of the neighborhoods down the way caught on, and they went and got stakes, and they got all dressed up. And we're out there playing one day, and we looked out at the end of the street, and there's about 50 guys with swords about six deep marching towards us. We're like, holy shit. We all scrambled to get our swords and our capes on. We had this like hour-long sword fight out in the middle of the street. But the funny thing is, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But the funny thing is today, I don't care if my grandkids or young employees or whatever, like the grandkids will disappear with their phones into their rooms or their computers, and they don't do any of that kind of stuff anymore. I'll never forget the old Sears catalog. I've seen the cover of it a few times recently. Mom had a rifle, and Johnny and Susie had guns, and Dad had a rifle. And you could buy anything you wanted from Sears, And it wasn't that long ago you could buy guns at Walmart and every place else. But things have changed a lot, And I look back and I wonder if we weren't being conditioned a little bit. We're all being raised to be soldiers, because that's all we did was go out there and fight and stab, and you didn't want to get shot too soon, so you say I'm still a little bit alive, And it was. Did you guys do that too? I know I'm a little older than most of you. Was that still going on? When you guys were kids?
Well, when me and my buddies would sword fight, it meant something different. But yeah,
I don't know that I want to hear about that.
But yeah, we went out on the street and sword fought. Yeah.
That may be more information than I need right now.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Jeff Davidson, I put some Jimmy in honor of this show. Well, thank you, Jeff. I think everybody's heard me say, at least once, that it's always been Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin for me, my 1 and 2, And I keep collecting albums from both of them. And I have a lot of Hendrix right now. And I really embarrassed myself when I did my Led Zeppelin show. I had Led Zeppelin 1, 2, and 3, right? And I'm going to have to do another Led Zeppelin show, because now I have all the studio albums. I've got some box sets, Houses of the Holy, and I've got some other stuff too. And of course, I finally found my last CD in my 4 CD box set of Led Zeppelin 2. I think I bought in 1990. One of the CDs was missing, and our house has been torn apart for about a week and a half because we had some water damage in the ceilings from back when I finally got rid of my shake roof and switched to a much nicer roof. And the shake roof was starting to leak here and there, and so finally we had the guys come in. I have high ceiling scaffolding and everything. They fixed the whole ceiling and put a new hand texture on it. And so the house is like, we're just cleaning up powder and stuff, and there's still scaffolding sitting out there. But anyway, so I'm going through stuff, and my stereo got unplugged, and I was trying to listen to music. Somehow a major cord from my TV got unplugged, and I got this wad of wires like this on the bottom shelf underneath my stereo. And I'm down there for like, an hour trying to pull on a wire and get everything hooked back up. And I come across some hidden CD cases. And I pull them out, and one of them said, it didn't say Led Zeppelin, but I opened them all anyway, because some of them had stuff in them, some of them didn't. And there was my missing Led Zeppelin CD that I've been just brokenhearted that I lost it. I mean, the first thing I did when I got them was to make copies, just burn copies on my computer. And that's what I would take with me in my car. But anyway, so I found my final one, and I'm real happy about it. Anyway, enough of that.
What's crazy is there's a lot of people that would listen to this and not know what the fuck burning means. Because nowadays we have MP3s, we have the Spotify. People don't know what the hell burning is anymore.
No,
right. No, that's right. Yeah.
Remember?
I used to. Especially off my iTunes and stuff. I used to just burn stuff. I had a stereo on my motorcycle, and just to take to, if it was a CD, I would burn a copy just to preserve the original. Finally gathering my CDs together. What kind of bums me out is a few years ago I had this funky little stereo out in my garage. You could put a CD, an 8-track. It played almost anything. I don't even remember where I got it. Somebody gave it to me or whatever. And I'm cleaning my garage one day, and I come across my old artificial alligator skin 8-track case. I'm like, oh my God, my 8 tracks. I didn't know I still had this. So 3 of them, I put 3 in a row and I just ripped the tape out of them. I don't know if the tape was just so old and bad or it was the actual player I was putting them in. But I got pissed off and threw the whole case away. And I had like Led Zeppelin, you know, Santana. I had so much good stuff in there, you know. And I wish now whether they played or not, I still had them, you know.
Yes, I got a few Elvis ones that are still sealed, 8 tracks.
Oh, no kidding! Wow, that's impressive.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm seeing a lot more of the vinyl shows showing a lot more CDs, you know, and CD
I got
collections, you know.
That one's,
Oh yeah, I love that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah,
still
That's my
sealed.
favorite live album.
that's totally
Yeah,
cool. An unwrapped 8-track too.
Yeah, that one's sealed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
that's
for
really
them to make a comeback.
What's that?
I'm waiting for 8 tracks to make a comeback.
Oh yeah, I just bought a mint. I just bought a mint BCR McDonald steel mint box from 1972. It's a British-made 8-track player. I'm waiting on it to get here. Yeah, I love 8-track tapes. Anything on tape sounds really good.
Tapes, yeah, they do sound really good. I remember a friend of mine had a big reel-to-reel.
To go if you can afford a reel player, that's the way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have a lot. There's always a lot of people here. My oldest daughter lives with us. Her kids are here a lot, and you know, and unfortunately, I have my record player out in the front room in the same cabinet as a television. So, you know, it's like always, you know, a negotiation to listen to albums. Sometimes not as bad as I'm making it sound, trust me. But I would like to put one in here. But what's cool about the one out there is a stereo system I bought, I don't know, 12 or 15 years ago. It's this huge Yamaha amp, 7.2 surround sound with 5 clip speakers and a great big subwoofer. And
you're riding. That's Dolby Atmos.
That thing sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
I've been complaining about, you know, my, you know, not having a record player in here, although I got this huge iTunes library. I don't know what I'm whining about. Plus, I can play CDs on my computer. So my wife brings me home one of these Crosleys or whatever they're called, you know, and I put an album on that, and I just, oh my God, I boxed it back up and took it back. You know?
Yeah, they're pretty rough.
Yeah, it sounded kind of on the weak side, but I'll probably eventually put one in here. I don't know. One thing's for sure, I was talking about how CDs are, you know, vinyl was like crazy explosion, but we're starting to see a lot more, you know, people are collecting their CDs back again. And I'm starting to collect my CDs back again because let's face it, you're not going to take your vinyl album in the car with you. You know?
No, but a lot of it, the collectability too, is just that CDs, a lot of CD stuff is out of print. You know, it's like labels are not printing CDs, and when they do print them, they print them for a short run, and then they cut it out of the catalog. So like you know, a lot of kids that are like into like say 90s hip hop, you can't find like, you know, 90s hip hop on CD often.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. Yeah.
If it's a big release, it'll be there. But like most, if you're collecting and you start getting deeper into the genre, like anything else, it's just not there. So yeah, it's highly collectible. CDs are coming back, which is interesting.
They are coming back, and you know what? I'm going to grab something real quick.
Well, you're finding a lot of vinyl is recorded from digital. It's not even recorded from analog. They're just transferring from a digital source onto vinyl, which is a travesty to me. I don't like buying digitally mastered records. It's an oxymoron to me.
Well, I was in Walmart the other day, and we're talking about CDs, and I remember when I saw this 4-album set of The Mothership by Led Zeppelin in a local store called Traffic Way Records down on Traffic Way, and I kept passing on it. And all of a sudden I walked in there and it was gone. And I got really bummed that I bought the 8-album set of Jimi Hendrix. But anyway, so I'm standing there in Walmart looking at albums, and I look down and the CDs are right below the albums. And here's the mothership, you know. And to tell you the difference, this in album form was like 135, 65 or something. I think I bought this, you know, for $20, you know, or $22, you know. And it's like I could take this in my car and listen to it, you know. Yep. I mean, I do have a lot of Led Zeppelin now on CD. I got the BBC sessions. I've got, you know, almost everything they've done on CD. But I mean, these are totally cool, you know, the mothership.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm kind of stoked about that to have come across that. And they got some nice pictures on it too, you know.
Yep.
Nice stuff. So anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to be afraid to grab a CD here and there. You know, you're looking at these albums, you know, and some of them are color and stuff, but I mean, they're starting at around $24. And you look down, the CDs are like $8.99, you know, for the same damn thing. It's like,
right.
Hey, nice hat. I didn't know whether that was a coonskin cap or it's a unicorn.
Yeah, I'm a little. I'm a unicorn. Yeah.
That's funny. You know, I used to have my little Yorkie in here, and when it was cold in the wintertime, I had her unicorn costume on, and I called her the vinyl unicorn.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
I got the same outfit, but in my size.
That's great. Okay, Gregory Cunningham. Hey, my buddy Greg. Greg was on the Muhammad Ali show with me. Greg's a big fight fan, knew a lot about Ali. He'd met Muhammad Ali and Layla Ali, and on an airplane with them, and got his picture taken with them and stuff like that. And boy, what a great addition to the show he was. I don't know how I could have. It wouldn't have been the same without him. He's like, "What's up, Royce and Robbie Detroit?
Hey, buddy.
Jimmy is the GOAT." Hey, Greg, really glad you dropped in. You know, good to see you, man. Yeah, that's great. I mean, there's a link here. There's a link here up above. It has the word StreamYard in it. If you want to go up there and click on it, you're more than welcome to come on and talk to us. You know, I've been inviting anybody that wants to come on, and it'd be great to see you on. And yeah, there's a link here. It's you know, https:// just look for the StreamYard.com. It's all on a single line. So if you'd like to join us, feel free, man. Love to have you on. And,
I was waiting for you to say the whole URL. That would have been hilarious.
I know. I know the link to maybe buy Chad Ricard's book, Mayhem 337. He was embedded with Afghan troops, and he was a sniper and stuff. He almost came on tonight. It would have been great. Anyway, his book's being they're making a screenplay out of it right now, and they'll be circulating around Hollywood to see if they can get a movie deal, you know. But it's an awesome book. So I put a link up if anybody wants to look for it on Anaheim on Amazon.
I'm not driving clear to Anaheim just to get a book.
I'm not going to tell anybody what was in here.
Right.
Oh shit! So do you guys remember the band Doctor and the Medics?
Of course.
I have Clive Jackson on my show tomorrow, the singer of Doctor and the Medics. So check it out. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, what your mornings, right? You go like at 9 or 9:30.
For you, it would probably be 9:30. It's noon Eastern Standard Time.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So I've got Clive on the show tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's not a real doctor, so I'm not going to ask him about the hemorrhoids. They broke that news to me this morning. I was hoping to get this figured out. But I guess not. It's not going to happen. And then, do you guys listen to metal by chance?
Yeah, I'm a huge metal fan.
Raven Black, ring a bell? She's going to be on the show next week. Not live. It's going to be pre-recorded, but
cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So
yeah, no, I like metal too, but I know there's metal, and there's some of the stuff that I never went through and through with it. But My metal was more like, 90s and then I got into the grunge and all that stuff too,
Well,
but I'm sure there's plenty of metal that I haven't experienced.
Well, there's heavy metal, which is classified as like anywhere like late 60s clear up to the 80s. And then there is metal, which could be anywhere between death metal
Yeah. Right.
or anything
Right.
more modernized.
Right. There's like doom metal too. I was watching a show on doom metal, a vinyl unboxing show today.
The first doom metal band was Black Sabbath.
That's what they were saying. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And
they were first on a lot of things.
And the first, I forget their name, but there was a band that came before Sabbath that was considered the first operatic metal, I believe.
MC5?
No, there was another band, Coven.
Okay.
They were the first band ever to introduce symbols of Satanism and stuff into their music.
Yeah.
They were like the early 60s.
Well, those crosses that, like Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz is holding up that silver cross. Well, his father used to make those for all the band members because of the crowd they attracted.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people doing music that doesn't make sense to me is they do the upside down cross, which is not even a symbol of Satanism.
Oh.
It's actually a symbol of St. Peter in the Catholic religion, I believe.
Yep, you're correct.
So it has nothing to do with Satan. Actually, Satanism shouldn't even have a cross to begin with, for one. Right. And for two, the actual satanic cross is a line, 2 lines, one of them smaller than the other, and then an infinity symbol on the bottom.
Huh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
That's like I saw an interview with Ozzy. They're like, "You're satanic," and Ozzy's like, he looked down. He had 12 crosses on his neck, a cross on his ring finger, and he's like, "Who the fuck dressed me?"
Dress me. Has anybody watched his new show lately?
The Ghost
I really can't. As much as I liked his old show, I have a hard time sitting through the new one.
The one where he watches ghost videos,
or his son asks questions and him and his wife answer.
Oh, because if it's the ghost one, even Ozzy can't sit through it. Because I've seen videos of Ozzy watching these ghost tapes and he's asleep on his fucking couch. That was in the bloopers.
That's funny.
Did you know that he replaced coffee with cocaine? He now drinks 2 pots a day. Jesus, man.
Hey, we just got joined by a friend, Adam D. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Adam.
Hi, Adam. I love the typing. It's awesome. It's a nice. You should do an intro for Royce in the House where it's just your loud typing, and then it's a song. It's like,
hey, thanks for the reminder. Really, I mean,
and kick drums sound as good as typewriters, So.
Ding.
Ding.
Right. I'll have to look for a quiet one next time.
Throwback Thursdays.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna read off a few more of our war-inspired songs here. I have Richie Havens, "Handsome Johnny." I love Richie Havens. I know, Scott, you brought him up. What was it with Richie Havens? There was some kind of relative of his that's in New York where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I basically live in Woodstock area, so yeah, my wife actually grew up with Richie Havens' daughter. Yeah. That's
what the story was. Yeah. Yeah, Richie Havens. Betty and I saw him in concert downtown Long Beach years ago, maybe 73. At some little Roxy theater or something. And like I was saying last time we talked about Richie Havens, which was the Woodstock show. Richie Havens came out dressed in a suit with an acoustic guitar and hopped up and down and strummed his acoustic guitar and sang all night. And when he left, he was soaking wet.
Yes.
It was just something to see, really.
That song, "Motherless Child," I think he played it at Woodstock. Yeah. That's an awesome song.
"Motherless Child," "Freedom," Handsome Johnny. Yeah, good songs. Yeah. And so let's see, what do we have here? I had, okay, in addition to Richie Havens, Handsome Johnny, I had John Lennon, Imagine. I had, let's see, somewhere up here I have actually, oh, there it is, the Plastic Ono Band, Give Peace a Chance.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Holy Wars by
Holy
Megadeth.
War.
Megadeth.
Oh, by Megadeth, yeah.
What about that song from Buffalo Springfield? Hey, what's
For
that song?
what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Yeah. That's funny. Funny you bring that up. I was considering showing albums tonight, and that's one that I had here. Was, Buffalo Springfield, and the first song is For What It's Worth. Right here. Anyway, so I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be digging through 3 or 4 albums by the same artist to find one song that relates to the war stuff. I mean, you just get too carried away. So not like a real unboxing tonight, just a music show.
Well, so we lived a lot of life. We probably got it all by memory, anyways.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's Marvin Gaye. What's Going On?
Read Adam D's comment in the chat.
Oh yeah, he's always got something.
Murder this chili dog.
Sorry for interrupting.
That's great, Adam. I always appreciate when you show up. Okay, so I had Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? I have, of course, Bob Dylan, Blowing in the Wind. I love that song. I absolutely love that song. And big Bob Dylan fan. Pink Floyd, Us and Them. And, of course, I mentioned already, Ed Stasium told me, do not forget about the Ramones, Commando. And so I mentioned that. I have Black Sabbath, War Pigs. I have Metallica, One, and also For Whom the Bell Tolls. Any comments there, boys?
I'm trying to think of other war-related songs off the top of my head. I believe the metal band Lamb of God had quite a few. I just can't name them off the top of my head. I'm a big Lamb of God fan. So
yeah, well, Alice in Chains had Rooster, and that was a war song.
Yeah, they had Rooster, and then I'm trying to think of other ones. Like I'm drawing a blank.
Iron Maiden had The Trooper,
and they also had they had The Trooper, and then they had another war song. They had quite a few actually. They had Aces High too.
Well, you look at their covers, you'd think every song was a war song.
I do believe most of their songs are. Like Aces High is one.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of another one that there was one by them that's I think the Klansman's about a war, but it's a war amongst like people in clans, the clan. I'm trying to think. I got a lot of songs in my head, but I can't like think of the names. Like, don't you?
I have like
2 Minutes to Midnight. That's what it is.
What is it? 2 Minutes to Midnight?
Yeah.
And that's by who?
Iron Maiden.
Oh, Iron Maiden. Okay.
Minutes to midnight.
Wow, people keep disappearing.
I feel like I'm on like some weird fucked up game show where like am I going to be the last one standing?
I think you may be, Okay, so we also had Sammy Hagar, Remember the Heroes. Then of course, as getting more and more out of away from Vietnam and some of the other stuff right after Vietnam. Toby Keith, American Soldier. What a great song that was.
I'm not a big country guy, so I'm not that familiar with that song.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a country guy.
Huge. He had more than one. He had Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and that was a good one too. Those are both very popular. But if you weren't in the country.
Well, I knew Red, White, and Blue because I live in Ohio, and it's very like rednecky out here. But the other one, I don't bring a bell. How about did you already say the Rolling Stones, Give Me Shelter?
No, I did not.
That's a Vietnam War song.
Okay.
I have that on my list too.
Oh, nice.
I didn't write a list. I'm just here.
Well, Scott, what else do you have on your list?
I don't know. I have to look at my list. I just lost internet access before. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say you and Robbie disappeared at almost the same time.
Well, there's also Pink Floyd, Us and Them.
Yeah, he just said that right before he came on.
Yeah, just the facts mentions "Run to the Hills."
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that too.
Oh, you did.
How about "Zombie" by Cranberries? Like Diana said.
That's another one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Give Me Shelter. What else?
19,
what about
1990?
Chance?
What? Sorry.
Plastic Ono Band, right? Give Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Robbie Detroit said that StreamYard cut him out and won't let him back in.
How about
go? You guys go ahead. Keep talking. I'm sorry.
You're good. How about 1999 by Prince?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's about the Cold War.
Yep. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We already said Metallica. I have a list right here that I found online. I'm just trying to find ones that we haven't already mentioned.
I thought you didn't make a list.
I didn't. I found one online just now.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
I just Googled.
Yeah.
I thought you had your own list that you made.
Oh, no.
System of a Down, BYOB. System of a Down, BYOB.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the Iraq War. We might have the same list. Oh.
Yeah. Most likely.
Green Day's Holiday. That's about the Iraq War. Or as George Bush called it, Iraqi. By the way, I do impersonations. Isn't it weird that like every now and again we'll have a president that's famous for saying like a country's name? Like we have Iraqi and then we have China. Let me tell you about China. Let me tell you about these Iraqis. Let me tell you about these Chinese people. Like
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's pretty good. Who else was? Yeah, there was. I mean, I learned whole new pronunciations of countries sometimes from the presidents. You know.
Yeah, a lot of them. I learned what a blowjob was because of Bill Clinton.
You know what? It's interesting you bring that up because I'd be sitting there watching the nightly news with my 13-year-old twin daughters, and Clinton would come on and start denying that he had sex with Monica Lewinsky and this and that, and the cigar thing would come up. And I'd be like, kids, leave the freaking room. This is like X-rated shit here. That's all I hear. That's all I need my 13-year-old daughters to see every single damn night on the news.
Didn't you think you'd end up seeing Bill Clinton on like Jerry Springer or some shit back then?
Yeah.
I did not have sex relations with that woman. She only sucked my pee-pee. I didn't let it put inside.
I'm gonna try to send Robbie another link real quick here. You guys carry on.
Like I did not have sex with that woman. She came on to me, Your Honor. She came on to me.
That's not what the dress says.
Right. You know how they found out that it was real, right? They did kind of like the OJ thing, except if the stain on the dress matches your DNA, it's time to get out of office instead of the glove.
Yep.
I didn't do it.
Yep.
The thing with Bill Clinton, though, is he was a very good liar, though. He could be like, I'm not here. And you'd believe him. You'd be like, what? You'd be like, what? I didn't do it. I just saw you do it. It wasn't me. It was me. It was me all along. No.
Right.
See, I didn't have very many friends growing up, so I just talked to myself in impersonations. You know what? You know they have all these cartoons that they keep like bringing back, like Courage the Cowardly Dog meets Scooby Doo. Like they'll have two cartoons meet each other. You know what one I really want to see? I really want to see like the commercials, like in mysteries. There's a lot of things unsolved. Like Scoob, we're gonna find out why all these weird things are happening. Ruh-roh, Raggy, look over there. What's up with a talking dog? Throw down, Delhole. Like, you need to try some of these snacks. They'll really mess you up. I'm the almighty Cornholio. You don't tell me you wouldn't pay to see Scooby-Doo meets Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty good.
You'd pay for that. Sorry, yeah. I got off topic. That happens a lot. Go ahead. We're on wars.
No, but you're entertaining people. I got people laughing in the chat and stuff.
With war songs, if you want to find any war song, just watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Because that entire movie is about the Vietnam War, pretty much. It's just about him covering a horse race during that time. Look who's back!
Yeah,
he's back. Shady's back.
Back again, or shave my back, or however he says it.
Yeah, hip hop. I mean, I'm okay with all that stuff. I got into that, when it was kind of taken over. Really, I mean, it was kind of taken over MTV.
Did you hear what the controversy behind the Super Bowl? I find this hilarious.
I'm not sure which one. I've heard more than a couple.
According to sources, Snoop Dogg was told that he is not allowed to wear a blue bandana at the Super Bowl because of the whole gang activity. He was also told that he's not allowed referencing weed. So before he went on stage, Snoop Dogg fucking lit up a joint and started smoking it right in the stands. He had a special made full jumpsuit that looked like a blue bandana that he was performing in. And the whole time he was singing, he had a blunt he was hiding in his hand.
No.
He's Snoop Dogg. What are you going to do?
I guess Snoop marches to the tune of his own drummer. He's not.
Yeah, but who's going to tell Snoop Dogg no? Like,
right.
Like his hometown.
Yeah, in his hometown.
He's a really funny guy. I saw him in concert. It was a little outdoor venue out in the middle of nowhere called the Pozo Saloon. There's almost nothing there but a teeny tiny post office, one or two houses, and it's surrounded by big ranches. It's about 30 miles, 35 miles from where I live. And it just was a shock. Snoop Dogg came to the Pozo Saloon, right? And I mean, it wasn't like he was out there with the troops and all the girls, scantily dressed. It was just like hardcore, wife beater on, standing at the mic, band behind him, and other rappers, and just rapping, just hardcore rapping. It was actually pretty funny. I mean, not funny, but I mean, I actually enjoyed it.
So how strong was the weed smell in the room that night?
It was outdoors, but yeah, no, it was everywhere.
Because I heard Snoop Dogg sweat is how they make Rick Simpson oil. Like that's.
But I'm not sure it was any stronger than it was when Willie Nelson and Friends comes to the same venue.
I believe he can outsmoke Snoop.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
You know what's crazy that I heard? It was Tommy Chong, I think, said that he outsmoked Snoop one time. He said it took a lot. Right? Took a lot. But
took a lot.
Tommy Chong's an OG, man. He probably could.
Well, they interviewed Tommy and Cheech both in an interview, and Cheech and Chong was sitting there, and the interviewer was like, "Do you guys smoke as much as you used to?" And Chong's like, "Nobody smokes as much as we used to, man." He said they went through a pound a day.
No way.
Between the two of them, they went through a pound a day.
Wow. That's
Snoop Dogg smokes 87 blunts a day. So I don't know what that turns into, what that translates to, but that's still a lot.
I've never heard of anybody doing that before.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking smoking. I know that.
Well, Cheech and Chong would smoke even when they were recording shit. And did you know,
Yeah.
at least this is what I read. This could be false, and I hope somebody corrects me if it is. But I read somewhere that in Up in Smoke, they didn't smoke real weed except for one scene. And that's when Chong had the roach clip, because they were filming and he was smoking it and he accidentally swallowed it. And it wasn't even supposed to be in the movie, but they said for comedic effect, they just put it in.
You probably
So
could
that was,
That's pretty good.
El Rocho.
Well, I'm gonna see if anybody has anything to say about the last few songs I wanted to read off. And let me see. Again, I mentioned Toby Keith already, American Soldier. Trace Atkins, Still a Soldier. Johnny Cash, I Won't Back Down. And Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA. Anyway, that was kind of concludes my list. I mean, I filled a whole page, and I could have probably filled three pages, but it's just too much to cover, And so, you guys have any kind of closing thoughts on the whole songs that were inspired by the thing, or
what Tim McGraw did one, I'm Already Home, as far as country songs.
Yeah.
I'm Already Home. He didn't, it's not on an album, but I think it's in a live performance somewhere. Now, what's interesting about Tim McGraw is I dated his sister, Tracy.
Really?
Yeah, Tracy, her last name, her maiden name's Tracy Miller. Tracy Smith. And you know the story with Tim McGraw, he found out about 11 or 12 years old that his father was Tug McGraw. He was, his last name was Smith until he found out his father was Tug McGraw. But yeah, I met Tracy in Desert Storm. She come to Germany and I was her squad leader. And we ended up getting romantically involved, but never consummated the relationship. And after the war, we all split up. Well, I get this message on Facebook after 23 years. And I'm like, I know this girl from somewhere. And she goes, Tracy Miller. And I go, oh, that now I remember. And she goes, you know who my brother is? And I said, no. And she goes, Tim McGraw. So I found out 23 years later. But she would play these tapes in the barracks of him singing before he was big, and demo tapes or whatever. And I wasn't into country then. But yeah, it was, I dated Tim McGraw's sister. She's my daughter's godmother.
You know what you should have done, buddy? You should have been like, Tim who? I don't think I know him. I don't
Well, I tell you, I think we're going to close down here in a couple of minutes, but I have my closing thoughts are just that, these songs that were inspired by war, I mean, some of them are, as old as some of them are, they remain some of my favorite songs. I mean, I like them. I have them on playlists on iTunes, and I still listen to all that stuff. So anyway, Mike, how about you? I mean, any kind of a closing thoughts or?
I want to download uTunes now. No, all I want to say is if you guys enjoy music, you enjoy comedy, you enjoy podcasts, I might have what you're looking for. Go subscribe to Pink Sock Podcast on YouTube and on Facebook. We have a Facebook. We're premiering new episodes every Monday. We might be live, we might not. Tune in and find out. And our name is Pink Sock Podcast. Yes, that type of pink sock, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's my little plug, not my butt plug, but my plug.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. Absolutely. Okay, we'll go right around the horn here, Scott. Anything about your latest albums? And I've been listening to them online. You know that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just I keep producing music, and that's something that I've been doing for a while now with this band or one person musician sort of thing. Our house, cool. And which is it's kind of a horror based, but also dark wave at the same time. It's got some black metal in there. It's got a lot of different types of things that kind of I'm into, and I've been just kind of working on together to create kind of like this my own thing or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I'm doing that, and I'm on IG. That's really my big presence is really on Instagram. It's not really Facebook. It's not really TikTok or anything like that. It's definitely like very, very big Instagram following that I'm building, which is great. Other than that, to talk about a little bit about what we were talking about tonight with, the war music and stuff like that. I mean, I'm born in 1967. So, I mean, really that music that happened in the Vietnam War happened, right when I was born. And so I think that a lot of people that are born at a certain point, based on their yearly when they were born, have some sort of like I don't know, the linkage or something about how they feel about like music that happened at that time. So I definitely have a strong tie to 1967 and 1968, 69. The hard blues, classic rock stuff. There's a big influence on what I'm into or whatever. And influenced everything that I like for types of music that I've been listening to, since MTV and AM radio and all different types of things or whatever. But the war brought out a big, strong creativity in a lot of rock music and a lot of soul.
Yeah.
There's things like Marvin Gaye. What's going on. There's all these things too that we didn't really talk about, in different genres and stuff. But definitely feel like that that the war definitely inspired a lot of great music. It definitely was like a big outcry of these bands, stating how they felt about it. And I don't think really it was necessarily a diss on the soldiers or anything like that. It was just definitely like all about freedom and love and about like what are we fighting for? If you don't believe in the cause, it's not about not standing up for what America is. It's more about fighting a war that maybe we shouldn't have been at and fighting at that point as far as Vietnam's concerned. So, but still, there's some great anti-war songs, and period was very, very creative and interesting. So. That's all I really have to say about it.
I couldn't agree with you more. I never felt like there was much in the way of protest directed at our servicemen and women. It was always just about, the war itself or the politicians that went in there without a real good plan. And of course, it got better later as time went on. But the Vietnam one was pretty bad, as far as we were just, I don't know what we were doing really at some point, All I know is when I was a little kid, I'd sit there after dinner with my parents, and we'd be watching the nightly news. And I swear the COVID thing's the first time I've seen it since. On the nightly news, they put the numbers up. Like COVID, it's like how many people have died worldwide, how many in America, how many people are sick locally, whatever. Well, every single night on the nightly news, it was like how many of our soldiers got killed, how many North Vietnamese soldiers got killed, how many and you'd sit there and look at these numbers, and it would be like. It would be just really crazy, really. I mean, for that to be part of the nightly news every night, But like I said, I never really felt like there was a lot directed against the service people. I mean, Hanoi Jane, that was a different story, Jane Fonda. But she got a lot of people hate her to this day. I mean, I've watched a lot of movies with her, and I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? I mean. Whatever, but anyway, that's okay. Robbie, any closing statements, or want to tell us anything about Robbie Detroit's Tiger Man vinyl, your show?
Before Robbie goes, I would like to ask Scott a question. He said he's big on Instagram. For people that want to follow him, what is his Instagram account?
It's Horror House, HORRORHAUS _ like line official. That's it. And that's pretty much where I'm, if you want to follow me on Twitch, I Twitch DJ as well. I'm there same thing, Horror House _ official. Same thing, TikTok as well. I'm there as well. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. I just wanted that out there before we close because I like to help people out. And I'm on Instagram as well. It's just Mike Usnick, and I'll let Robbie go. It's just great on shows like this when you say your social media to say what your account is so people can follow you.
Yep.
Right. Totally.
Go ahead, Robbie. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, that's no problem, buddy. No, I just said the young lady that commented earlier talking about the military guys and women being great. I just want to say that we couldn't do what we do or what we did without the American people, and I think the American people are awesome. I think they're a little down right now, and I think America needs to realize how great they really are still and pull back out of whatever they're in right now. But without the American people, we couldn't do what we did over there, and we love America, and that's why we did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, and I feel like, you know, I mean, I think America is the reason why there is a free world. You know, I mean, it's not free everywhere, but you know what I'm saying. You know, I mean, what would it be like without us? I mean, we're the backbone of, you know, of freedom, really. I mean, I don't know what countries do without us. I mean, you look at what's going on over there right now between, you know, Russia and the Ukraine. I mean, if we weren't involved, rallying all our NATO allies and stuff to really clamp down, you know, on Russia and try to make them pay a really big price if they go in. I mean, who would do that? I mean, I think the rest of Europe would probably buy their oil and be happy and look the other way. I mean, I don't know that for sure, you know. But if that was the case, they would just start falling like dominoes over there. We'd be back to the Soviet Socialist Republic, not just Russia, you know.
That's what they're trying to do, though. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys all the help. You know, it's lonely here by yourself, and I want to thank everybody. Thank everybody in the chat. I mean, you guys mean the world to me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to sign off for now and figure out what we're going to do next week. Thank you all very much, and good night.
Good night.
Live long, rock hard.
Good night, guys. Bye. Thanks, Royce.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Oh.